So, but still, it flourished. So, just to conclude, I mean, to think about a philosophical framework of natural magic, I mean, what was the basic ideas of it? We already talked about it, so it's more like to wrap up. So it's based on the assumption that the hidden, the occult power that affect things, and then if we know them, we can be very powerful in manipulating nature. So, for instance, one of the things that some people talk about is occult force in the during the scientific revolution was Newtonian gravitation. We don't know what exactly it is and how it operates or something. I mean, but so the occult, I mean, was not the occult. I mean, nowadays, I mean, is kind of diminutive, but we see it as something bad, anti-scientific. But then it was kind of a normal and part of the natural philosophy. So since natural magic is based on knowledge and is not related to knowledge of nature, there is encouragement to study nature and to experiment and be more active rather than passive. Many times the scholastic Aristotelian philosophy is considered more passive in its relation to study of nature. So we talked about this. And in a sense, natural magic was the separation of the natural elements of the magic that was always. So it became like a more related, I mean, to what we call now scientific issues, which is anachronistic. The important thing, I mean, that historians emphasize about magic, that is pragmatic and empirical. So it's pragmatic in the sense that you use magic in order to, for pragmatic reasons, you want to control things. And it's empirical in the sense that if you see alchemy and other things, I mean, you have to do experiments. And you cannot actually just base it on text. I mean, there was a lot of text also that people made, but you also do experiments and there were a lot of experiments. Any question? We watched it a bit, but I mean, just to give you an idea. The important thing, I mean, when we talk about fetishism, is actually to look at this period from their point of view, and to appreciate alchemy and magic, natural magic, and astrology, and all these and the like. I mean, as an important part of natural philosophy. So it's as important part of what we would say science all the time, and sometimes actually the elite of science, natural philosophy. So it's not that they were kind of backward, I mean, or that they were not intelligent or something, but they had a different view about nature than we do. We're overwhelmed. No question. All is clear. Good. Okay, so if all is clear, the next thing we would like to do is to talk about the card. So, in this week and next week, we we talk about conception of knowledge that are developed during this period of scientific evolution. So if we talk about, one can spend actually a whole course on theory of knowledge, but we'll be talking about two important thinkers that actually are very different from each other. One is Descartes, and the other one is Jung. And both of them are very important for theory of knowledge, and both of them are important for scientific knowledge. So Descartes has a discourse of the method, in which he actually proposed a scientific methodology. We will talk now more general about his meditation, and we try to understand, how he thought about knowledge in general, and a little bit how it's relevant, to scientific knowledge. And Descartes is more rationalist. So reason, and remember, Zeno, and remember Leibniz. With Descartes, it's not that he didn't do experiments, or he thought that the empirical facts are not important, but he's more on the rationalist. And Jung is considered more the empiricist. And Jung is also important in raising a very important question, in the philosophy of science and scientific knowledge, is the problem of induction. How can we justify the way we learn from experience? And we always learn from experience. It's a problem that we still deal with. So both of them are extremely influential in actually shaping the way we think about scientific knowledge and scientific knowledge in general. So the first part of the presentation, we briefly talk about, present Descartes, and then we talk about this conception of knowledge, and then the methodology, the meditation. Descartes was not happy with his justification for the knowledge that he had. So he didn't think that the knowledge that he had was all crap, but he thought that he was dogmatic in accepting this knowledge, and he wanted to review all his knowledge and to base it on more firm foundations. So the meditation is a thought experiment that is supposed to give justification to the knowledge that he and his contemporary have. And to draw from this thought experiment a conception of knowledge. What is knowledge? What is knowledge in general? What is scientific knowledge? So we will talk in the first part about all these things, and the first meditation in which Descartes started this. There are 6 meditations. We will talk only about 2 of them that are the main most important for our results. So Descartes lives from the end of the 16th century to mid-17th century. He was a mathematician, natural philosopher, what we call now physicist. So we say mathematician, very important for Skepticism, and he was a philosopher, and one of the most important students of theory of knowledge. He lived during the scientific revolution, and as I said, he felt the need to reevaluate his own beliefs, especially the scientific one, and base them on firm foundations. And this is the main focus of the first and the second meditation. Okay. So his conception of knowledge. It's important to understand at least 2 aspects of his conception of knowledge. One is foundationalism. So the idea is that knowledge is based on a certain foundation. So the most important, basic ideas and principles, at the bottom, and then things flip on that other beliefs that are less fundamental, less basic. So the idea is that knowledge is based on certain foundations. There is a hierarchy, and he wanted to base knowledge, scientific knowledge, on unshakable beliefs and principles, first principles. Once he can justify these basic beliefs and first principle, then it will be easier to justify other things. Less basic beliefs, ideas, and principles. And he wanted that this basis, foundation, will be certain beliefs, that beliefs that will be beyond doubt. If they are beyond doubt, then everything that is based on them will be justified. He was also internalist, and internalist means that when one justifies by reason. So, by argument, we are conscious of the justification, and so when we want to justify something, we have to give an argument. For instance, I can say that it was cold yesterday because I felt my bones. I don't know why, but it could be a very reliable source of knowledge. But that's what happens, and I have this problem. So every time I have a pain in my bones, certain kind of pain, I know what it's called. But this is not internalist, this is externalist. It means that I don't need to give a justification, an argument for my knowledge. To give an argument for my knowledge is, for instance, to explain the connection between cold weather and pain, in my bones. Okay? I don't know, or muscles, rheumatism, or whatever. Is the explanation. So Descartes wants explanation by reason, justification and explanation by reason. So at the end of the day, all justification has to be subjected to the inspection of the mind. All argument, justification, and beliefs. So basically the meditation would be kind of inspection by the mind of different beliefs and principles. And the meditation is used as a methodological strategy. This investigation is used in the meditation, and he hopes that if the reader would follow him in his analysis of ideas and beliefs, and will be convincing that people will be convinced by that, and we accept his view of knowledge. Now, what is Descartes' methodology? It's important to understand because the text itself, I suppose, was not easy to read. Once we understand better the methodology and the principle that Descartes is using, it will be easier to understand. So Descartes wants to base his belief, scientific beliefs, for instance, and general beliefs about the world on firm foundation. And what he's going to do is going to call into question all beliefs. Okay? And he wants to, and he aims to eliminate all the false beliefs. Now, it's not easy to eliminate all the false beliefs because we may not know whether things are false or true. But what we can know is that if a belief is not certain, we can suspend it. And if it's certain beyond doubt, keep it. Okay? So we don't have to judge whether it's true or false. What we have to judge is whether it's certain beyond doubt, any reasonable doubt. And if it's not, we suspend it. Suspending it doesn't mean that we say that it's false. We just put it aside, and for the time being, don't adopt it or don't use it. Now, the problem is that if he has false beliefs, so I mean, why he wants me to use this methodology? Because the problem is that if he has false beliefs, he's probably satisfied with them. He's not aware that they are false. So like the judgment of falsity and truth is problematic. So use two methodological principles. Instead of judging truth and falsity, use two methodological principles. One is rather than ask, as I said, rather than ask whether a belief is true or false, ask whether it's beyond doubt, which is easier. You know, you have a doubt, I mean, I don't know, like, is it snowing outside now? I have a doubt, because I don't see exactly, suppose all the blinds are, I have doubts, I mean, I'm not sure, I mean, it was written in the, like, the forecast, but I mean, many times they don't get it right. So it's not beyond doubt, I suspect. So suspect all the beliefs that are not entirely certain and beyond doubt. Now, the important thing is that to understand that these are very high standards of knowledge. Because many times we take as knowledge things that are not beyond any possible doubt. As a matter of fact, most of our knowledge seems to be doubtful one way or another. But this is the first principle. It's easier to go that way. Second principle, now there are a lot of beliefs, plenty of them. You start to enumerate them. You may not be able to end them until the end of the semester, and even maybe many years. So instead of checking all the beliefs, what Descartes wants to evaluate is the basic belief upon which the foundation, upon which all other beliefs rest. So if we can judge the basic beliefs, whether they are beyond doubt or not, then we in a sense judging by that, as a matter of fact, all the beliefs that are rest on these beliefs, which are most of our beliefs. So hopefully the beliefs that are at the basis would be only few, or relatively few, so that we don't have to worry about going each belief at a time and check. So these are the two principles that are important for the class. Now, what are the foundations what are these foundations of knowledge? The common answer is that these foundations are based on perception and beliefs that are directly based on them. So self-perception. You know, we see things, we smell things, we touch things. I mean, these are all observations, I mean, that we have. So beliefs that are based on, if you think that most of you believe about the external world come through the senses, because that's the way we can know about it, that by checking the nature of these beliefs, one can actually check whether all other beliefs that are based on them are also beyond doubt. So in order to know, like that, for instance, Newtonian gravity, that there is gravity, we have to look through the microscope, telescope, or to observe. And these observations are sense perception. If the sense perception are problematic and are not certain, then every physics that is based on that will be also uncertain. Okay? They are certain, then also the things that are based on them will be certain. And if there is any reason to doubt these beliefs, the beliefs that come through our senses, then there will be reason to doubt a lot of things that we believe about the external world and a lot of science. Okay? we can stop here and have 10 minutes of break, and then we